side so that you don't walk across the, So I'll sit down there. Firstly, can I just get you to, if I could just get everyone to just move up a little bit, it'll make it easier to see the presentation. Wait for the stragglers who are filling up their glass. Okay, welcome to our party. I think the most appropriate beginning for our party is to acknowledge that we're on the land of the Wurundjeri people. Secondly, I just wanted to say, again, welcome. This is our first Easy Being Green party, and we're here to have a great time tonight. So there's plenty of food and drink, so please make yourself at home and enjoy what we're providing for you tonight. Tonight's about it's not an official launch of Easy Being Green, it's about gathering together our friends and our supporters. And if you're here tonight, it's because you're a friend of either someone directly related to Easy Being Green or someone in the satellite family. So we're glad you could join us. You should have received a little survey with your kit of information as you came in the door. Because you're all friends, we're really trusting you to give us your honest feedback and to fill this in, and it's up to you, you know. If you fill it in, that's great. If you don't, that's still fine. It's a really relaxed evening. So the other thing is, I just wanted to make a quick mention of a couple of special thank yous for presentation this evening, and Jen has been fantastic, and you'll get to sort of see Jen later on when you're handing in your survey. So once you've completed your survey and you're ready to hand it in, Jen just down here is going to put her hand up, and Nick over there, who's also putting his hand up with a mouthful of food, they'll be standing here, and they'll collect your forms throughout the night, and we'll have a bit of a running tally to give you an update of what's happening. So I'll hand over to Emma. Emma Vibert is one of the shareholders and has been there right from the start. She said to me earlier this evening that it's been interesting to go from, you know, this right at the very start with it being in Nick's lounge room to this party tonight with this amazing group of people. So without further ado, I'll introduce Emma Vibert to you.
Thank you, Lisa. This is a very small box I'm standing on, so if something bad happens, it's a result of that. Yes, I'm one of the lucky people who was invited to Nick's lounge room last October to hear about his an idea, he put it. Nick had gathered together a group of people with diverse skills, but with a common interest in wanting to make a difference, and doing that in a way that was fun, exciting, and in many ways uncommon. Some of the people knew each other and some didn't, but all were taken with Nick's vision, which was to make a difference to our environment, reducing our household's environmental footprint. Now you can see that this is where we've come to, and hard work, many hands, and dedication has taken what began as an armchair idea to a Carlton office space, a well-articulated business model, and the people that you see here with our t-shirts on that are spending most of their time either working on bringing Easy Being Green to our doorsteps or being in the broader supporter base. I'll just run through some of the key people, if I can get a hold on the technology. Right. Nick, which many of you will probably know, is internationally known as an innovator and a leader of highly successful social and environmental businesses. In the UK, he founded the Furniture Resource Centre and Create. His previous role was Executive Director with the Brotherhood of St Lawrence. Chris Tierney.
Yeah, guilty!
Good work.
Go, Chris!
He'll be... He'll be speaking next, okay?
You won't, we'll wait till you come up.
Chris has 25 years experience of working with BP, mainly in supply chain and project management, and he met Nick at a community first forum run by the Brotherhood of St Lawrence. Andrew Lang, who's the Chief Financial Officer, has had a 40-year global career with BP and was most recently Head of Finance in Hong Kong. He has a long-standing interest in sustainability and is most recently building an environmentally sustainable home. Nick Brass, who's currently on secondment from CEAV, which is the Sustainable Energy Authority Victoria, who's standing in the back corner. Nick, put your hand up. Actually, if everyone can Easy Being Green can put their hand up, and then we've got the t-shirts on, but you can see where we are and you can hunt us down. He brings us skills and knowledge not only of sustainability, but of also building social enterprise. Last year, he initiated a group called Wheels of Fortune, which took second-hand bikes and repaired them and rented them to local people in Tonga. So that sort of gives you a rundown of a few of the key people, and I'll hand over to Chris to talk about the business model.
If only this was a laser. Right. Okay, I have the challenge of condensing a 40-page document down to 5 minutes of explaining the business model. So this is a bit about how Easy Being Green works, and essentially we're intending to tackle the home environmental products market in a different way. And our pitch to customers is going to be that we can save you money and you can reduce your environmental impact, improve the comfort of your home at the same time. So as customers come in to Easy Being Green, they'll be directed to the website or to a call centre. And when they start to interact with us, we'll be asking them a few simple questions about the current use of energy and water in their homes, the sort of size of their home, the number of people and so on. So answering a few simple questions, we'll be able to give an indication of the current efficiency of the home and start to talk to people about the products that could be utilised to provide a solution which would reduce their energy and water consumption and thereby provide savings. So we've got a link then to finance to assist people in that process of purchasing products. So in that conversation, it'll be a very brief conversation. We'll start to talk about the need to go and carry out a site visit, a home assessment, and so we'll set that home assessment up so that we'll have people coming in to look at specific products, where they can be installed in the home, what sort of impact they can have in terms of reducing energy and water consumption. So the calculator part will be a detailed assessment. We'll then talk to people again about the finance, where the finance is needed, and ensure that people can see that the products can be purchased and financed and installed. And to do that piece, we're going to seek a fee of $250, and that fee will ensure that work can be done. If you go on and then do the installation and the work, then that cost will come off the end cost of the total piece of work. If you don't go ahead, well, you've still got a detailed assessment of the home, the products you could consider installing, and the sort of impact that could come from installing those products. So at that point, we then move to where Easy Being Green starts to bundle the products, coordinates the product providers, the installers, and effectively manages the job. So you've only just got to come to Easy Being Green, we'll bundle and coordinate the job. You don't have to go and deal with half a dozen different suppliers and installers. Now at this point we're seeking to involve unemployed people, people in training programs to come and work in some of these tasks, and we'll seek to do that wherever possible. The At that point, we've carried out the job, but we want to continue to build a relationship with customers. So we're going to have a feedback process so that we can keep people about their collective impact. Together, a large group of customers have meant that we've saved having to build another power station. And over time, we'll be able to bring new products and services to the customer base to stimulate further environmental reduction, environmental impact reduction. So we've reached the point in the process where we've essentially set ourselves up as a marketing and service company. But one of the key things about Easy Being Green is going to be the relationships that we need to build to ensure that we can deliver this to the customer base. Now, these relationships will be focused on existing industry players. We're not going out there to reinvent the whole sustainability industry. So we're connecting in with key players and existing organisations. So we've had great support from the Sustainable Energy Authority, and Nick's working part-time for us, and we really appreciate David Young giving us that support, and other members of the Sustainable Energy Authority that are supporting Nick. We've been working quite closely with the Alternative Technology Association, ATTA, and ATTA is an organisation that currently carries out home audits and assessments of people's homes, and so we're looking for those people who are accredited in doing that work to be the people who come in and do the home assessments with us. So ATTA and ourselves will be closely aligned in that piece of the business model. Swinburne is an organisation, the National Centre for Sustainability, and we've been getting support from them in putting together a proposal for market research, and Kipling Zubovic has been helping us out with understanding the marketplace. We're talking to financial institutions and a number of financial institutions about the ability to provide financing for homes to take up the offer, and we'll be meeting with Bendigo again next week in terms of talking about competitive green loans to support the purchase of products and the installation. We've had great assistance from organisations such as the United Customer Management Service. They're helping us with understanding call centres and how to set that up. We've had support from Cause Chambers Westgarth, the lawyers, and they've been helping us with the legal aspects of the business. So we're getting great support from organisations in setting up the business. We've been talking product suppliers and service providers, and for example, Green Plumbers, who provide accreditation for plumbers to go and carry out environmental product work. And we've had conversations, Nick's been talking to the Australian Conservation Foundation, ACF, in terms of assisting us with that feedback loop to customers in terms of keeping that ongoing relationship going, informing people about their collective impact. Now, I mentioned at the very beginning that we believe that we can save money and have a positive impact in reducing environmental impact. And I just want to give you a quick indication of how that's done. So with careful targeted products, we can deliver home improvements, and together with the easy behaviour changes, we can ensure that we can lower energy consumption and save water. So that results in you having lower water and energy bills. They then offset the cost of the work, the products and the installation. And for those of you who see that upfront cost is some sort of issue, then a finance package can be put in place, either a new loan or against an existing mortgage. And so those repayments are spread out over time, and the savings you're making from the products offset the two. So certainly across a mortgage you can get to a position where you've actually saved money overall. Okay, now in terms of the specifics around the financials, we've built up a business plan, and we've started to have a look at what sort of capital investment is required for this first phase of the business. And we've a profile in terms of cash margin, which assumes that for the first 3 months we're not generating any positive margins, because we're running a pilot for 3 months where basically we'll run it at cost. So we'll run we'll run it through people's homes, we'll test the operation, we'll test the concept. So we begin to make a positive margin after that time, and we ramp that up based on the assumptions that the average spend will be about $5,000 per household. We'll make a 20% gross margin, and we'll start to build customer base through to about 2,000 over 2 years, and then ramp it up to 5,000 after 3 years. So we're progressively escalating the growth in customers. So that margin will be then utilised to offset the fixed cost, and we start to get a positive cash position on these figures in about May next year. So where the blue line crosses the red line, we start to get into a position where we can start to accumulate funds to repay the initial upfront funding that we need. So in terms of that level of funding, effectively we've come to the view that we need about 250,000 of capital injection, and that's made up of those costs plus a 20% contingency to cover any unforeseen events or inaccuracies in the overall assumptions that we've made. So that takes us through to that May time frame. We start to accumulate cash after May, and we get to a position by the end of next year where we can pay back that upfront funding that we're seeking. Okay, so that's a really quick run through in terms of the business model and the financials associated with the business. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to Rachel Olivier, who's the CEO.
All right. Well, pleased to be here. The reason I'm here, and I must say it's a little odd standing on a box, but sorry. No, this way. I'm actually here because ATA is a charity. Our purpose, our mission in life is to make sure that sustainable practices are taken up. And I guess our assessment of where things are at the moment is that the job of persuading individuals, persuading governments, persuading business is actually, it's almost done. The bit we're entering now is how on earth do we do it? And that how is really exciting. And I think that's where this activity fits in as well. I've been given some numbers here about what that might achieve in terms of sustainability. We think that households make a big difference in this equation. They have a big impact on our greenhouse emissions picture, and we can avoid building new power stations by moving our households to more efficient practice. And basically, it's a job we have to do. We can't get out of it. It's got to be done. We're involved. I guess we're working with Easy Being Green because we actually think they might have a chance of doing some of that. There's a whole range of other things that will be part of that picture as well. But what our members tell us, and what they tell us consistently, is the things that get in their way are it's too hard, it costs them money up front, they can't find people to give them good advice. And I've spoken to a few of you tonight, in fact, who are telling me the same thing. You can't find somebody to install this. You can't find somebody to actually do what you need when you need it. And I think that's the gap that this fills. I'm really excited and would like to end by saying just a little bit about ATA. We've actually got a lot of people here, and I might ask them to put up their hands. Who's around the room? So if you want to know more about us, ask these people. We have 3,000... We have 3,000 members around Australia. They're individuals who are putting this stuff into their houses. They are the early adopters, to use that language. And because of that, our speciality is knowledge of products. We know what works, we know what doesn't work. we know what gets in the way in terms of economic and political structures as well. So that's what we bring to this activity, and that's where we think we can work really well with Easy Being Green. So thank you very much. I'll leave it there.
No, look at that. Wouldn't that just be the case? You can stand up here too. You can if you want. Well, look, this is Charlie. Thank you for coming. You know, I'd also like to acknowledge we're on Wurundjeri land, and also the spiritual home of the people of St Stephen's. We got the bishop here. Evening, Bishop. And I'm actually associate priest here, so I spend sort of not very much, one Sunday a month or something, as much as I can. Well, thank you for coming, and you are friends of somebody, and you know, it's always a bit, you're friends of somebody that's encouraging, but somebody that I know too. And it's always a bit frightening, you know, when you have an idea and you stand up and you say, we're about something, because everyone's going to tell you why it's not going to work or have an opinion about why, you know, you're in the clouds or off in cuckoo land. But we actually do have something that we think is of real value. And we invited you because we wanted to tell you about it because we like you. And this is this is just to say something about the market that we're going into. That for a lot of people, they're not going to, you know, for a lot of time, a lot of people, and there's some people in this room that have been working on this for 25 years of their life, you know, maybe 50 years of their life, trying to bring this stuff to people's homes. But there's something going on at the moment which says those products have just got to the point where the savings that they make actually can make sense against packaging them. The fact is that we're just seeing, you know, a movie come out where it's not going to be a plane crashing, it's going to be what happens when the ice hits or it warms up or whatever the bloody film's about. But, you know, this is real for us now. It's hitting home. And people are wanting to make a contribution. And a bunch of us, 9 months ago, decided we would individually like to make a contribution in our house, and couldn't. We couldn't easily do something in our homes that would make our homes energy efficient. So we actually reckon there's probably 25% of Australians out there that are aware of this, conscious of it, would like to do something. Some of them are going to be very price sensitive, but many of them are not. So we don't think it's about lobbying, we don't think it's about pushing, we don't think it's about cajoling, we just think it's about making it possible. Now the thing is, everyone else has done the hard yards. I think we're coming at this as business people in some ways. We're coming at this from BP or Beyond Petroleum. They're going to try and get BP out of business quicker than they should have been. We're coming to this because we're passionate about something. We're passionate about some change, and I think we can deliver it. We actually think there's probably 5% out there in the market in Australia that can afford it regardless of the price, and that curve is about price. It doesn't really matter up this end whether it's 5,000, 7 or 12. But that 5% of the market just here in Australia, just in Melbourne, is somewhere around $100 million. Now $100 million worth of Melbourne work would change this industry and force the prices down. Now we've built our model over the next 3 years on 1% of that market, less than 1% of that market. We know that ATA have got 43,000 people that are 35, 43, lots of thousands of people. Somebody's not going to help me, obviously, with your Renew. How many Renew customers? 45. 45, there you go. That's what I like a bullshitter. Can't hear any more. But 50,000 people are out there trying to do this, you know, are paying for a magazine. We know that Bendigo Bank, when we went and saw them, said the reason we're interested in this is we've got customers who've got a green loan, but they can't spend the green loan because they can't get the service done. So we know that councils are out there speaking to people, but actually they can give them the information and do the audit, but then where does somebody go to get this done? Now, there is some small cottage industry starting around this, but actually if we're to save the environment, we've got to go to scale. We've actually got to do 70% of households in the next 10 years. So we're establishing this on 1% of the business, just in Melbourne. But actually, that's me. Over the next 3 years, so we said we'll do 5,000 homes, that's a $25 million turnover. But actually in the next 10 years, we've got to do 3.5 million homes in Australia. And that's at 5,000 spend, $17 billion. Now there isn't anyone in this market yet in a serious way, and there should be. And if So people say, well, why, how are we going to do it? Why should we why shouldn't we? And somebody's got to, and we need a significant amount of competition in there to make that happen and deliver. But if we don't, we will not be handing on to him and his kids the kind of environment that we should. Thank you for being a prop. I didn't mean to be a prop, but you're actually perfect in many ways. So we have to, and it actually means commercializing it. It actually means making it dirty and talking about numbers. Now, I know I've just come from a sector where we are uncomfortable about taking the risk on businesses that have millions, let alone billions at the end of them. So we must get serious about it, and we are. Oh, Nick. But we got together in October. It had nothing to do with money. Absolutely nothing to do with money. It had a goal that says we want to empower individuals to radically improve global environmental practices. And the way that we want to do that is we want to develop a market for products and services that simply meet individuals' desire for environmental and social sustainability, even if they're not aware of it. They're sat there and can we knock on someone's door and say, want to save some money as you sit there and watch the television? We've got a way that you can save the environment while you're sat there doing it. Because we actually think it's latent. We've been educated about it. We've been told about it. We think it's there. And we've actually got to tap it. But secondly, that if we're going to go into $17 billion worth of business that isn't out there, and we're going to do that within the next 10 years, we as an organisation could drive up the creation of social enterprises for new and emerging projects and products and services in these areas. We're going to have people digging up people's gardens and laying Aggie pipe down them and having grey water go straight into it so we don't have tanks and mess and it's just underneath and we get green grass. We don't have to water it. But somebody's got to go and dig those trenches. We're actually going to have to put bits of equipment, that's plumbing equipment, that's already out there, but pre-package it so it arrives on somebody's doorstep so they can bolt it on. There's a great opportunity for creating industries with people who understand this. Jobs that I think we desperately need. I mean, I spent 5 years at the Brotherhood chatting for them. We have an invitation for you to do several things tonight. One is to give us some feedback. Second is to say, we're willing to spend $150 to come and have Atta tell us what would happen in our house. We need to practice, so we want 50 cracks at that. We need 20 houses to experiment on over the next 3 months. The interesting thing about experimenting is we're not adding our margin, and we're getting it cheaper than you can get it in the market. So you would get your house done cheaper and bundled in a way that you couldn't. But we're looking for 20 people that might know they'd be interested in that. And we're also looking to raise $250,000 in $10,000 lumps. I think we've probably got 8 or 9 or 10 of you have already said that's why you're here. But we want to be close to that by the end of the night. And we've got a little running tally, and Brassy will sit down here and tell us how you're going. So by the time you go, you'll know whether we were letting off hot air or whether you responded. And so thank you for responding. I'm going to close off in a minute, but before I do, we're going to introduce Andrew, who's just going to tell you a little bit about what that $10,000 would look like and what the return on it might be. And he will be much better with this technology than I ever will be. Andrew, this is you, isn't it? There. Thanks, Charlie.
Right. Thank you to Nick. I've got the boring slot. I mean, Nick has the inspirational bit. I just have to do the boring bit. But
you should see me on numbers.
Yeah, well. The point about this is that we're looking for $250,000, 25 units for $10,000 each. We need that in order to get the business going, to get the process right, to get to the point where we can think about expanding to the large scale, which Nick was talking to you about. And we need it from up to 20 people.
Andrew, does your maths work already? 25 minutes, 10,000 units.
Thank you for the question. Thank you for absolutely excellent question, because it is open to any of you to subscribe more than one 10,000 unit. And that's just the kind of thing which we're looking for. So, I mean, Greg, there's the pattern to establish. So, 25 units for 10,000 from up to 20 people, but you get something back for that. As a lender of a $10,000 unit, on the 1st of July this year, you get 1% of the business, 1% of the equity. You get your $10,000 repaid after 18 months, at the end of next year. And if there is any further raising in the following 18 months, you get preferential terms in terms of gaining equity from that raising. Got to do a bit of fine print stuff. Nick and I went and had a very, very good conversation with the lawyers, with Coors. They were remarkably human. They didn't actually wave their fingers too often, but they said there are some things you have to do. And the first thing to say very clearly is that this is not, in this meeting, the formal invitation to you to lend us money. What we're looking for is that each of you fills in the form which you've got, expressing interest in lending us money, and gives it to Nick Brass or to Jen, and we will then send you the official information memorandum, which is the official document which says this is what is on offer, these are the terms, this is what you get. So can you please register your interest today, and we will send you the information memorandum. Possible we'll be oversubscribed, and so there's a discipline on us to accept offers in the order in which we receive them. There's a certain amount of technical stuff. Greg said, well, why can we only have 20? Well, that's part of what the Companies Act effectively restricts us to. There's a phrase there, ordinary lenders. There are some people who are exempt from that limit. And in as much as we get multiple offers, we may have to do a bit of scaling or moving up and down the priority list. And the safeguard on you, if you offer to lend, is that we will only accept your offer, we will only accept your cheque, we will only cash your cheque if we get offers of 150,000 or more. So you're not in danger of putting money into a business which is grossly undercapitalised. Timetable, we're looking for registrations of interest today, or if necessary up to the 2nd of June, but obviously the sooner it comes, the easier it makes our arithmetic. We will put the information memorandum out on the 2nd of June. We will want offers from people responding to that memorandum with cheques by the 11th of June, and we hope that that will be the end of the process. We will have the money. But it's possible that things may go wrong there. We may have had a lot of subscriptions. We may have to use a second cycle. So we've left ourselves time for that in the week of 14th of June. And the loans and the issue of shares will be in place on the 1st of July. Hope that's helpful.
Thank you, Andrew. It's really simple. We've come to the end of the speaking. We've got some wine and eating to do. You know, I think one of the things when we started with this is that I realised that I'd worked here for 5 years and I didn't have many friends. You know, I'd been in work and going to work and spending a lot of time, and I just knew this small circle of people that was really the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence, and then coming home and being at home. And part of this was about creating a circle of friends that were about things, about making a contribution, about making a change. And what's been extraordinary for me is that, first of all, the 10 people that we sat in the lounge room together we've gone on and become, actually, really deepened some friendships in a very quick and very lovely way. But also, people like these guys have been working with me now, drinking coffee in Lygon Street, and Lisa and Charlie and Charles, Brassy, sorry, Charlie's here, and Jen, working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week for nothing, because it's an idea and we want to pursue it. And there's been something extraordinary about that. And it's tough then to say to some people, would you like to play? And it's also around money. I don't know, that money's a different thing. We get a bit edgy about it. But actually I got excited about the opportunity of people play the way they play. And we're actually wanting to make a contribution, a difference. And we're wanting to do that with our time, with our energy, with our love, and with our money. And so that's part of the gift, the offer. It's nice, a lot of you, it's nice to see you here. There's some good friends. I want to say particularly for me is that to you guys, coming in, it's been an extraordinary pleasure, privilege, honour. I'm Chris, I don't know who you brought here as your cheerleader, but I would be one of them too. It's been I know I found a friend for life. And Andrew, our fashion guru here, he's the only person I know that wears a turtleneck. And Lisa, you know, was out there looking for a job and gave up looking for a job and said, I want to hang around this. Oh, Brassy's, you know, on secondment and works weekends and nights. It's been, Jen's just joined us, just doing her masters and doing a day a week and soon 3. It's been extraordinary to have people of great talent, great gifts say, I'd like to play. There's also a bunch before who, you know, Craig over there and Lindy with the baby outside at the door and Emma and Andy and Kate and, you know, a bunch of people that have just stayed alongside and made sense of it. So to them and to you, thank you for being part of something that has a high aspiration, that has a dream, that might not be real, but should be. And we're going to make it happen. Thank you for coming along. It's been great.